If you smoke flower every day, this video is not to judge you, but it is here to ask one simple question. Do you like the smoke, or do you just like the ritual? Maybe it's the ritual, maybe it's the wind down, maybe it's the body relaxation, the flavor, the end to a long day. So in today's video, we're talking about smoke-free alternatives to cannabis. What to look for, what to try, how to dose them, and how to make the swap without feeling like you're giving up your entire routine overnight. Because I know there's a lot of OG out there. I'm not trying to piss you guys off today, but if you're looking for a sober, curious option, if you're trying to reduce your smoking habit and swap it for something else, this is a great video to watch and learn today. Sober, curious cannabis crowd, I am talking directly to you. The people who want to stop smoking continuously, the people who want to smoke less, and the people who are simply just curious about all these different options out there in the year 2026. Things like gummies, capsules, mints, chocolates, caramels, topicals. There's a lot to cover, and I can't wait to go over it with you guys. Just to be super clear, this is not medical advice. I'm no doctor. And of course, cannabis products aren't all risk-free, so take this with a grain of salt. I hope you learned something from this. And really the goal here is just harm reduction if you are trying different alternatives. To start, hi, my name is Sydney. I'm one of the co-founders of Restart. We are a Austin-based cannabis brand. We're a hemp retailer, manufacturer, and we office out of Austin, Texas with two dispensary locations. If you're not local in Texas, you can order online, and we have e-commerce shipping all over the US. So why even stop smoking? Let's start with the obvious. Smoking flower is familiar, it's fast acting, and it's probably what 99.99% of us did if you're watching this video back in high school. Okay, that's how we all probably got introduced to it, right? You feel it quickly, it becomes a ritual, and for a lot of people, it is how they get through their days. But there is a downside to smoking, which is combustion. When you're smoking cannabis, you're not just consuming the cannabinoids and the medical benefits of it, but you're also inhaling smoke. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't always agree with the CDC, but they are right on this one. And when you are inhaling smoke from cannabis flower in traditional methods, like through a pipe, pre-roll, you're getting those carcinogens, that black smoke, straight to your lungs. Similar to if you're smoking cigarettes, tobacco, things like that. If you've ever noticed, maybe heavy smokers after years and years, you maybe have a little bit of a cough, maybe you get bronchitis a little bit easier, and you just maybe feel a little bit more irritated or have a lot more mucus production. It's probably because you've just been smoking a lot more than the average person. So again, if your goal is to be nicer to your lungs, if you want to find more wellness, health-focused alternatives, the first thing to reduce is the smoke itself, and there are a couple ways to do that. Side note, if you are wanting to explore smoking options, if you're just like edibles, drinks, I ain't gonna go there. You can actually buy what is a dry herb vaporizer nowadays. They make tons of different kinds, tons of different price points with varying technologies, but the difference here is most dry herb vaporizers, think of it like a mini oven. So they're baking the flower at a certain temperature versus torching it at a high temperature. So the smoke tends to be non-existent to a point. There's not that black carcinogen smoke. It actually makes the flower taste a lot more, what's the term? It's more aromatic. The flavors are more present on the palate. I mean, I'm now a freaking food blogger at this point, but you do get a lot more flavor profile out of your flower, and you can actually adjust the temperature to adjust different cannabinoids or terpenes based on what you're looking for out of your flower as well. So that's a side note. I mean, if you want to keep smoking, obviously I'm not going to judge you, do you? But if you want to smoke and have a different alternative to smoking, I would definitely look into dry herb vaporizers, but that is not what this video is about. And we're going to continue on with the purpose. And to kind of go backtrack a little bit, just because you're swapping a smoking product for a non-smoking product like an edible, a tincture, not all those products are created equally. The upside of edibles and drinks or tinctures, of course, that they spare your lungs and are a healthier alternative. It's also easier to measure, more specific than smoking, which is a big point if you're trying to cut back instead of second guessing what you're taking. So what do you look for? Before making your first purchase into the edible, drink, etc. category outside of smoking, look for these 4 things. Number 1 is dose per serving. Don't just look at the milligrams in the total package, look at how many milligrams are in each edible or per mil in your oil or per capsule, if you know where I'm going with this. Also look at how much CBD, THC, CBG, CBN, look at the cannabinoid contents. Is it a 1-to-1 ratio? Is it just totally THC? Figure out what you're actually taking when you're taking a gummy or drink, capsule. Again, I feel like I don't need to repeat these the whole time, but you get the idea. Number 2, the cannabinoid profile. Kind of touching on what we just talked about, CBD is non-intoxicating. So if you're looking for something like that, you can find high-dose CBD products with or without trace amounts of THC, with other cannabinoids, things like CBG, which is also non-intoxicating, but more for pain management, more for cognitive function. So different cannabinoids, not just THC, are found in the plant, and you can find products tailored to your specific needs because of these cannabinoids. One of the biggest ones, and honestly, some of the 2 top growing cannabinoids outside of THC and CBD are CBG and CBN. Like I said, CBG is more for focus, daytime, really an intense pain reliever is what we're getting a lot of feedback on from customers as well. And one of my favorite gummies has CBG in it, just heads up. And then CBN, of course, people do struggle with sleep, unfortunately. And so CBN is a cannabinoid, again, non-intoxicating, but very sedative in nature. So if you want sleep-specific products, look for products with CBN, and they come in a variety of different options with THC, without THC, lower dose, higher dose. You get the idea. A couple things to keep in mind, a little bit of CBD 101 is there are full spectrum, broad spectrum, and pure isolate CBD products. Depending on what you're looking for, full spectrum has all those cannabinoids. Look at the test results to actually see which ones and how much of them, because every CBD oil or every full spectrum product is not made the same. So think of like the best analogy I say for full spectrum products is think of a pie chart. In that pie chart, there is a huge slice of CBD, but it doesn't take up the entire pie. So the other parts are made up of that little bit of THC, less than 0.3%, other cannabinoids like CBG, CBN, also terpenes, flavonoids. There's more to that full spectrum product. Broad spectrum is all of those things minus the THC content. And then isolate is pretty much how it sounds. It's a pure CBD isolate. There should be no other trace cannabinoids in that product. Something to keep an eye on though, this is a plant, right? Like things change over time through heat. So naturally that CBD sitting on a shelf or in the side table of your cabinet or in your pantry, it can convert. You want to be really mindful on how well you're storing it, where you're storing it, and just making sure the date doesn't go past its expiration. If you want more information on proper storage uses, especially for edibles, we actually just posted a video on that and we will share the link. Number 3 is third-party lab testing. A quality product should have what's called a certificate of analysis, aka a COA. AKA COA. Hopefully that's not confusing. That matches the product and the batch. Here in Texas, we're actually required to have full panel testing as well. So we're testing for trace minerals, we're testing for toxicity, we're testing for pesticides, heavy metals. All of that's included in all of our products that we test and that we sell. We actually categorize things on our lab reports page where you can search by product, search by SKU. You'll see a COA, you'll see a batch number associated, shabam, shaboom, and it's there. You can also find COAs on our actual product pages. So if you're looking at, let's say, our 20 milligram Texas Tangy gummy, then you can click on the COA link and it's going to send you to our COA page and pull up directly. Number 4 is simple ingredients and a realistic effect promised by the company. I would honestly be overly cautious with companies that are marketing to you the saving grace, that CBD is going to solve all your problems, that this product is going to change your life, that you're going to for sure get better sleep, or for sure save your marriage, or for sure win $1 million. You know, I mean, those are a little bit outlandish to an extent, but I've seen some crazy claims on products, both in the marketing side, on a medical side. And if it sounds good to be true, it's always okay to proceed with caution and be skeptical. Maybe there's some truth to what they're saying, but always keep in mind that your body is going to respond how your body responds. Maybe that exact same product works for somebody else and not as well for you. So again, just be mindful of these really big, bold claims that brands, businesses are making. And as someone who runs this business, who has been in this business for going on 8+ years now, you know, I'm no stranger to what is on the market, different vendors, different sales people, whatchamacallits coming out from right and left, different cannabinoids entering the market. So we've truly seen so much, and a lot has changed over the years. So that's why we are overly cautious in what we put in our labels and what we market to you guys, because honestly, I just don't want you having a bad experience. We don't want you to have a bad experience. If you have a bad experience, then that obviously affects how we do business, and we want to stay in business. So be cautious, but also just find the right source. Look at the About Me page on a company's website. Do a little bit of research before making that commitment. So at least up front, if you know who the company is, what they're selling, you're doing your due diligence before spending your money and making that purchase. So let's go over some dosing basics here. The phrase that you're gonna hear over and over and over again in this video and pretty much every other video we post on YouTube, on Instagram, is start low and go slow. For CBD, our dosing guide at Restart is one and the same. Obviously, it's non-intoxicating, but you do still want to start low, whether that leads you to a fantastic result on the front end, whether you need to have it build up in your system over time. You really want to start low because number one, again, you just don't know how your body's going to respond. But number two, you're going to save a lot of money in the long run, because if you start low and you respond to that low amount, you don't actually need to take the higher dose. You're going through less product, and you can extend that product over a longer period of time, saving you money. Girl math. Same thing obviously goes for THC. On the THC scale, we typically like to tell people that you start low at around 2.5, maybe 5 milligrams if you're newer to it, but definitely start at that lower dose. Then you can go up in 2.5 to 5 milligram increments as you start to titrate up, if you figure out what's best for you. But here is the biggest difference when it comes to smoking, which is timing. Something that not a lot of people have time for. So there are different bioavailabilities. There are also different onset times for these consumption methods. We're gonna first talk about sublingual oils. Sublingual simply means under your tongue. So a lot of oils are prescribed to place however much you want underneath your tongue, because you have mucous membranes there that absorb a majority of that product versus just swallowing it down and it digesting and going through your liver. When you place a product underneath your tongue, not only are you getting the best absorption and quality out of that product, but also it does take a little bit less time to kick in than an edible. I'd say an oil will typically take 15 to 30 minutes for onset time, compared to a gummy, which may take 45 minutes up to 2 hours of an onset time. Same thing with capsules, because you're swallowing it, digesting it, and you're not actually placing it underneath your tongue. It's gonna be the same onset time as an edible. Plus, the flip side of that is when it takes longer to kick in, you do have a longer time frame for how it lasts in your system versus a sublingual oil. Just because it kicks in sooner, it also is going to leave your system a little bit sooner. So you kind of have to weigh what you're looking for. Do you want a product to last longer, or do you want a product to hit quicker? If you want both, you can also couple the two products, take an oil, take a gummy, and you can actually stack them in your routine so it can hit faster and last longer in your system. You're welcome. Especially for THC edibles, just be really, really extra patient. Again, we actually just made a video on this and the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to consuming edibles, but starting low and going slow and giving it the full 2 hours, if not overnight, before taking that second dose of THC. So here are a few products to try from Restart if you want to give our products a little go. Now let's make this practical. If we're building a smoke-free starter kit using Restart products and you're trying to reduce your flower intake, these are the products I would start with. Product number one would probably be just a full spectrum or even a low dose THC oil. This is the first thing I would recommend someone because it's the cleanest method. It's a smoke-free alternative with either no or really, really mild high. Depending on the strength, we sell a couple different options here at Restart on the CBD side. For legal reasons, we can only sell up to a microdose of 2.5 milligrams per mil of THC oil, but a lot of people really like that oil because it's a microdose. So again, it helps them get through the day. They can start at a low dose. You can also use it in multiple servings per setting. So taking your time, if you want a clean product, the base is MCT oil. Again, all of it's tested. It doesn't have a weird aftertaste and is a super clean, effective product. For dosing, if we're talking about CBD oil, I would start with either our 40 milligram version or we have a 100 milligram version. Again, it's totally going to depend on what you're dealing with medically or what you're wanting out of your product. So obviously a high concentration product, you can still get a low dose out of it. You're just having having to measure a little bit differently. But for example, our 40 milligram per mil CBD oil, there's 40 milligrams an entire eyedropper, and there's titration marks on there. So you can mark it at the 0.25 all the way up to the 1 mil, and you can break it into 10 milligram increments. Product number 2 would be some sort of edible, right? Like, I feel like edibles are very familiar for a lot of people. There's also a lot of maybe hesitation when it comes to edibles because of how they affect you. But if you start low and go slow, you're gonna have a good time. I can't promise, but I almost guarantee it. Edibles are really for someone who wants something easy, wants something consistent, you don't wanna do the measuring, and you just want it all done for you. And maybe you just have a little bit of a sweet tooth and you want that. We have everything, again, from a pure CBD product to a full spectrum product to full THC products, low dose, microdose, all the way up to high dose, hero dose products. So there's a huge range here. There's also different ratios when it comes to choosing your edible. If you're just starting out and you wanna make some swaps, again, I would start with something low, maybe a 5 milligram, maybe a 10 milligrams, and then go up from there. If you know you're someone who has a high tolerance in nature, or if you go to, let's say, the hospital or a doctor and you're just notoriously known for having a high tolerance when it comes to different medications, sometimes there is some overlap, and you'll notice that those people tend to also have a high tolerance when it comes to cannabis consumption. So you can buy higher dose products like our 40 milligram hero dose edibles or our 30 milligram all day edibles, which are new and one of my personal favorites. But you can also buy a low dose product as well. Again, lots of options here. If I'm gonna have to choose, it'd probably be our 5 milligram strawberry lime gummies. They're just a classic fan favorite and one of our best selling gummies. Product number 3 would probably be some sort of a capsule. They maybe aren't as popular in an age demographic of like 25 to 35, but they have a really amazing purpose. And again, if you like precise dosing, if you don't want the sugar, there's also a benefit to capsules, because just like an oil where it's that pure MCT coconut oil, it's just a very pure, no sugar added product. Capsules do the same thing. Also, people take supplements and capsules pretty much every single day. So if you're someone who has that routine and you just want to add a capsule to your daily routine, put in your little like pill organizer, capsules are a great option for that. I mean, you can also put a gummy in your pill organizer now that I'm thinking about it, which is not a bad idea. But yeah, I think you get what I mean. We have capsules in broad spectrum, in pure CBD. So capsules are a little bit limited here at Restart, but we do have some options for you. Product number 4, we're looking at a ratio product with CBG, like I talked about earlier, for focus, for daytime use, for maybe pain management. We have a pure CBG CBD product with no THC. We also have CBG with THC. One of my personal favorites is, let me actually go grab it. Let me go grab it. These are one of my personal favorites. When we launched them, I think it was like 3-4 years ago, still one of my go-to edibles. It has THC, CBD, and CBG, and I usually just cut these in halves or quarters, but you can take the full thing. It's 20 milligrams THC, 50 milligrams each of CBD and CBG, and I really like these because I do a lot of running. I am a runner, a lifter. I love going to the gym. I love being, active lifestyle, hiking, all the things. And CBG actually really helps me with the recovery portion, also the high dose of CBD and THC for the fun. I've kind of lost track, so I think we're on product number 5. Let's go with that. Something else I would add to your repertoire would be a microdose product. So maybe you don't have a high tolerance, or maybe you're just out and about with your friends, you're going to the bars, you're going shopping, you're going to a vintage store, you're going to the park, and you just want a little something to put in your bag or in your pocket, in your purse. And those are microdose mints, hard candies. Again, they're already pre-dosed, they're super tasty, they fit in your pocket. I even travel with mine, and they're just a nice little thing to like pop in your mouth, have, and then you just feel a little bit like lighter, airier, fun. And I like them more because it's a little bit more subtle than like biting a gummy in public or dropping droppers underneath your mouth. You know what I mean? It's just, people have no idea, and that's the beauty of it, right? You can be high in public and no one's gonna know. So we have a lot of microdose options, from our mints to 1 to 10 ratios of our gummies. So definitely explore our microdose options. And fun fact, on our website, you can actually shop by dose. You can find your dose, whether it's microdose, macrodose, or everything in between. One more note about our hard candies and mints is that not only are you swapping or trying to swap your smoking habit for something else, but it's the hand to mouth. Like, part of the whole experience is doing this motion and bringing up a pre-roll, a pipe, whatever have you. So the hand-to-mouth method of trying to just trick your brain into satisfying that craving, but swapping it for something else is also a really huge bonus and a major tip for why those microdose products are so great, because you can take multiple of them without being overly high. Now, something else to add to this perfect kit are beverages. So hemp beverages not only are just really popular right now for some obvious social reasons, but they're a really great way to, again, satisfy the hand to mouth fixation, sipping on something and distracting you from not smoking. For especially the sober curious crowd, drinks not only replace maybe an alcohol substitute, but they help break that habit, like I said, for the ritual of smoking or the ritual of making yourself a cocktail. You can crack open a can, you can make your own non-alcoholic, zero proof, full of THC or CBD drinks at home, and you can still have that fixation with a mocktail or zero proof option while getting some pretty good benefits as well. One of my favorites, and something that we sell at the store is called Restart Remedy. Essentially, it's a zero proof, zero sugar, unflavored cannabis spirit, which you can add to your own cocktail recipes and just replace the alcohol in them. A shot of this or a serving is 10 milligrams. You can do a half shot for 5 milligrams, and you can make your own beverages at home. On our Instagram page, I've actually shared quite a few recipes that you can do. It's really easy to make. I've gone through, I don't even know how many bottles, because when friends come over or we go places, I love taking it to my friends who consume, but they want to try a little something new. Or when we have parties here at our house, I just love having it along with all the other alcohol options and seeing people grab for the remedy. Because again, it's a great way to replace that alcoholic ritual. You don't feel hungover the next day. You're still satisfying that craving of the hand to mouth of smoking. It's also, unfortunately or fortunately, a little bit more socially acceptable, right? So maybe you're at a party, people are turning their heads because you're about to light up a joint, versus just pouring yourself a drink, not affecting anybody at all, and still feeling all these zen chill vibes. This is exactly the kind of product I would frame as the I still want a ritual, but I don't want the smoke. So here we go, a simple swap plan. I promise we're almost done with the video, and I hope that you are learning a lot along the way and finding some tips and tricks to try yourself. But here's a simple way to test things out without putting too much pressure on yourself. For the next 7 days, it's a little bit of a challenge or a little bit of a homework assignment, if you will. For the next 7 days, when you have a ritual to go smoke, whether it's morning, midday, or night, try replacing just one of those with something else. A gummy, an oil, your microdose mints, or a beverage. One of the best tips I can offer is if you are using smoking to fall asleep at night, that's probably not the one you want to swap for, because sleep is valuable. But maybe you're just out and about in a social setting, maybe you're just chilling in your backyard on a holiday weekend, and you want to try to swap something easy. You want to dip your toes in the water of swapping. So choosing something that's easier to say yes to a gummy versus swapping from a pre-roll, if that makes sense. Those are the ones or the sessions that I would choose first to swap over something that you heavily rely on to make it through the day or the next day. For that session, you're just going to choose one product type. If you want no high, try a CBD oil, gummy, or a beverage. If you want sleep support without THC, try our CBD CBN gummies. If you want a little THC but less intensity, and you want to swap the fixation, the ritual of putting your hand to mouth to smoke, I definitely go for our microdose mint or hard candy options. If you want more of the social ritual, I definitely grab for a THC beverage. You can track how well it's working with these 3 things: how long it took to feel, how long the effects lasted, and did it actually replace the urge to want to smoke. The goal isn't perfection, so don't knock yourself if you don't, fix it the very first time. The goal is just gathering information and trying new things out. The bigger idea here is that smoking does not need to be your default. You can still be canna curious and also be very lung cautious. You can still enjoy the ritual while questioning the smoke, or you can lower your dose without quitting everything overnight. And sometimes the biggest wellness shift is not what can I add more of, it's actually changing the format and thinking about what can I take away, whether it's lowering the dose, swapping one of your smoke sessions for an edible session or beverage session, and just getting really honest with what you're wanting out of that product and how it's making you feel. So if you're starting this journey, just remember, start low, go slow, check for COA, always read the label, and always just keep it intentional. And I really genuinely hope you enjoyed this video, learned something from this video, felt inspired to try something new from this video. Whether you're totally fine with smoking and just want to keep doing that, but encouraging you to step outside of your comfort zone when it comes to cannabis. I know and I love smoking. I'm right there with you. It is the OG way to consume. But if you are looking for a healthier alternative, you're just wanting to live a little bit of a healthier lifestyle as far as not inhaling smoke into your lungs, these are some great options to test out and try and see if you can trade that ritual for something else. And before you know it, who knows, maybe you're totally converted. We'll see. Time will tell. As always, make sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video if you found it helpful, and follow us on Instagram at RestartCBD. My name is Sydney. Thank you for joining us, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.